Hello students, today's topic applications of dimensional analysis. Three applications here. First one, to convert a physical quantity from one system to another system. Second one, to check the correctness of a given physical relation. Third one, to derive a relationship between different physical quantities. We can discuss one by one. So first one, to convert a physical quantity from one system of units to another system. You know children how to express a physical quantity. We can express a physical quantity as n into u. N means that magnitude, then u units. So here you can see we have to consider two system of units. Then we can write q is equal to n1 u1 for the first system. Then for the second system we can write n2 u2. Here you can see q is equal to n1 u1 and that is equal to n2 u2. Here we are considering this fact that the magnitude of a physical quantity remains the same whatever may be the system of units. So here we are taking for the first system, u1 is the unit there, u2 is the unit there. Then we can consider dimensions also. So here m1, l1, t1. Okay, fundamental units, dimensions of fundamental units for the first system, and like that way m2, l2, t2, that is for the second system. Then we can write this physical quantity. Okay, we can write dimensional equation for this physical quantity as q is equal to m raised to a, l raised to b, t raised to c. Here dimensional formula for this quantity we can take m raised to a, l raised to b, t raised to c. u1 we can write m1 raised to a, l1 raised to b, t1 raised to c. u2 m2 raised to a, l2 raised to b, n2 raised to c. Now we have this equation n1 u1 is equal to n2 u2, then n1 into m1 raised to a, l1 raised to b, t1 raised to c equal to n2 into m2 raised to a, l2 raised to b, t2 raised to c. Now we can write that for n2. So here you can see n2 is equal to n1 into m1 raised to a, l1 raised to b, t1 raised to c the whole divided by m2 raised to a, l2 raised to b, t2 raised to c. That we can write as n2 is equal to n1 into m1 by m2 the whole raised to a, l1 by l2 the whole raised to b, t1 by t2 the whole raised to c. So this equation we can use to find the numerical value in the second system of units. Let us see an example. Now we can convert 1 Newton into dyne. Here you can see, here this 1 Newton you know that is unit of force, that is in SI system, and dyne is the CGS unit of force. Okay, unit of force under that system CGS, centimeter, gram, second system. So here you can see the dimensional equation for force as mlt raised to minus 2, that we can compare with m raised to a, l raised to b, t raised to c. Now we can compare these two. So m raised to 1, m raised to a is equal to 1, l raised to 1, l raised to b, b is equal to 1, t raised to minus 2, t raised to c, c is equal to minus 2. Now how can we convert this? Here you can see in SI system we can take n1 is equal to 1 Newton. Unit values we have to take here. Okay. Then m1 is equal to 1 kilogram here. In this SI system you know unit of mass is kilogram. So 1 kilogram, but we have to convert that into CGS unit, gram. So here 1 kilogram, 1000 gram, L1 is equal to 1 meter, that is equal to 100 centimeter, and time is equal to 1 second. Then here you can see m2 is equal to 1 gram. Here L2 is equal to 1 centimeter and T2 is equal to 1 second. Then in our equation N2 equal to N1 into M1 by M2 the whole raised to A, L1 by L2 the whole raised to B, T1 by T2 the whole raised to C. In that equation we have to substitute then 1 into 1000 divided by 1 the whole raised to 1. 100 divided by 1 the whole raised to 1, 1 by 1 the whole raised to minus 2. So 1 into 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to 2 into 1, that will be 10 raised to 5. So from this we can write 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to 5 dyne. Okay. Principle of homogeneity of dimensions. A physical equation will be dimensionally correct if the dimensions of all the terms occurring on both sides of the equation are same. This principle of homogeneity we can use to check the correctness of a physical equation. Let us see. Here, to check the correctness of a physical equation, you can see this equation is familiar to you. S is equal to ut plus half at square. According to principle of homogeneity, the dimensions of this LHS should be equal to the dimensions of the other terms in RHS. Here you can see S in LHS, then UT in RHS, and half AT square in RHS. If you take the dimensions of this, if you are writing the dimensional formula for this S, that should be equal to the dimensional formula for this term UT. Like that way, dimensional formula of this half AT square should be equal to that of this S. Okay, let us see. You know, dimensional equation for this S is L. Now, for ut, how can we write? You know, ut is equal to initial velocity. So, Lt raised to minus 1 into t. Here you can see that also L now. Then, half at square. So, for that, we can write half at square. So, here it is half no need to write there. Then, here Lt, for acceleration, Lt raised to minus 2 into t square. Here, you will get that L. So, here you can see, here the dimensions for this LHS is L. Then here we have two terms for UT, that is L. Then for this half AT square also you can see that L there. So, here we can say all the terms on both sides of the equations have the same dimension. So, here we can see this equation is dimensionally correct. To derive the relationship among physical quantities, that means we have to get an equation. How can we get an equation? For that, we have to know that quantity depends on which all factors there. So here also we can use the principle of homogeneity of dimensions. By using that, we can derive an expression for a physical quantity. For that, we should know the various factors on which that quantity depends. So here we are going to derive an equation for centripetal force. You know the centripetal force acting on a particle. Okay, that depends on its mass of the particle m, then its velocity v, and that is moving along a circle. So the circle, r will be the radius of that circle, centripetal force. So that is moving along the circle. That's why here we need to consider that r, radius. So here you can see this f depends on mass, velocity, radius. So we can write f proportional to m raised to a, v raised to b, r raised to c. Simply we are taking like this. Okay, we are putting some powers there. M raised to a, we are going to find what is this a, what is this b, what is this c. So f proportional to m raised to a, v raised to b, r raised to c. Now we need to remove this proportionality sign. How can we write? F is equal to k into m raised to a, v raised to b, r raised to c. In this we can take this k as dimensionless constant. Here you can see the dimensional formula of f is written there, mlt raised to minus 2. Then k, you know, dimensionless constant, no dimension there. Then m raised to a, v, velocity lt raised to minus 1, the whole raised to b. Then r, dimension is L raised to c. That we can write m raised to a, L raised to this b plus c, then t raised to minus b. Now we have to compare LHS and RHS. So if you are comparing this, here you can see, here m raised to 1, L raised to 1 now. So we can write a equal to 1, then b plus c equal to 1, then minus b equal to minus 2. So here t raised to minus 2 its power, here it is t raised to minus b. So we can write minus b is equal to minus 2. From this we can write b is equal to 2. Here we have a is equal to 1. Now here 2 plus c equal to 1, c is equal to minus 1. Okay. Now we have to substitute the values of a, b and c in this equation. F is equal to k m raised to a, v raised to b, r raised to c. Then that will be f is equal to k into m raised to a, m raised to 1, v raised to 2 r raised to minus 1. This we can write as k mv square divided by r. You know the equation for centripetal force is mv square by r, but here we have this constant also, the F is equal to k mv square by r. Actually this k is equal to 1. Okay, our equation F is equal to mv square by r. Okay. Let us see the limitations of this dimensional analysis. Here children, in this equation you can see F is equal to k mv square by r. After that we can't do anything. That means here this one does not give any information about dimensionless constants. We have to just write that k like that. Okay. Like that way it fails to explain about a quantity if there depends on more than 3 physical quantities. Whatever we discussed here, there we are using mass, length, time, all these things only. So if more than 3 quantities are there, what to do? Nothing is specified there. Okay, then it fails when a physical quantity is the sum or difference of 2 or more quantities. Like that we can say, for deriving the relationships which involves trigonometric, logarithmic, exponential functions, sin theta, cos theta, like that, all these things coming, what to do, that also not explained there in this analysis. Sometimes that will be very difficult to identify the factors on which the physical quantity depends. So all these are the limitations of dimensional analysis. Thank you.